Oh my goodness. So something amazing, something so monumental, groundbreaking happened today. Okay, so God's presence came in the room. Oh my goodness. Like you guys might be like, doesn't that happen all the time? But yo, his presence came in the room in the kids ministry. Like, yo, that is huge. Do you know what that means? That means literally little kids are drawing in the heart of God. They are wooing God into the room. Yes, little 3, 4 year old kids are doing it. And I get to see it with my own 2 eyes, and I was in the room also. Oh my goodness, that is one of the rooms you want to be in. And so I've been serving in the kids ministry for I think a little over a year now. And I've been praying and just like working, trying to preach the gospel, tell the kids about Jesus, try to stir up their heart to love Jesus more and more every day because I'm hoping that one day these little kids would become worshipers, that they would be worshiping and drawing Jesus into the room. That's what I'm hoping for, that they would experience the manifest presence of God through their own worship. And I was like, oh my goodness, I've been waiting for that day after day, week after week, just hoping and hoping that God's presence come into the room. Like, yo, guys, when God's presence come into the room, you're done. Like, that's it. You know, in the Bible where it says that the cloud of God's presence came into the temple and the ministers couldn't even like minister anymore, but everything just came to like a standstill. Everyone was just enjoying the presence of God. And that's what I wanted. Oh my goodness. Like for me, if someone ever asked me, hey, how did a church service go? I'd be like, oh, Jesus came into the room. And for me, like, that's it. That is like, you hit the nail on the head. If Jesus came into a room during church, yo, that's a good service. It's not how amazing the sermon is, not how awesome the worship is, but did Jesus walk into the room? That is the key right there. That is the mic drop moment where you're like, yes, Jesus is here. And so what happened was that, so usually the kids would be watching these like music videos on the TV and they would like try to dance along with the video. And then for a moment, I was watching them week after week. They were losing focus. They would be watching the same videos and they would grow disinterested and start doing their own thing and getting distracted. And I'd be like, come on, kids, we are worshiping Jesus right here. This is a big deal. This is King Jesus we're worshiping. But they would be distracted. And I'm like, okay, kids, that's it. We're going to do something new here. I'm like, okay, kids, what song do you guys know? Your favorite worship song? And so one kid, he was like, I know Hail, Hail, Lion of Judah. And so I'm like, okay, great. You be the one. You be the one leading worship. You're going to do it. And so he started singing and stomping his feet, clapping his hands, and singing Hail, Hail, Lion of Judah. And then after that, I went to the next kid, and I'm like, hey, sweetie, what worship song do you know? And she was like, I know this song by Brandon Lake. And I'm like, what song is it? And then I'm like, is it Gratitude? And she was like, oh, I know that song, yeah. And so we started singing Gratitude together, and that's it. That's when, oh my goodness, that's when Jesus walked into the room. And the kids knew. The kids knew. They were only like 4 or 5 years old, but they knew. They were like, Jesus walked in. Jesus walked in the room. Oh my goodness. Oh wow, that's it. That's it. I'm so done. I'm retired now. Like, oh my goodness. I just met the end goal. The end goal is God's presence. Guys, that's the end goal. God's presence in the room. Oh my goodness. You ministering, moving the heart of God. And that's what these kids were doing. They were only 4 or 5 years old and they were ministering to the heart of God on their own. They were worshiping and singing their song. And they were just singing with all their heart, and it moved the heart of God. And for me, that was everything. Like, wow, oh my goodness, Jesus in the room. That's everything. It felt like the Holy of Holies there. The manifest, tangible, air thickening presence of God that I usually only feel in the secret place, in the secret place, in my prayer closet by myself. And there it was in the kids' church. Oh my goodness. You'd be like, what? What? The kids' church? That place is chaotic. There are kids running around screaming, and then here we are, stewarding the presence of God in the kids' ministry. That is monumental, breakthrough, groundbreaking, devil crushing, gaining ground, amazing in the spirit. That's how amazing it is. I'm just so excited. Oh my goodness, I walked out of church and I'm just like, I can't believe that just happened. And not only that, right near the end, right when we were about to go home, the kids were having a few minutes of playtime to do whatever. And then one of the kids, he came up and he's like, "Hi, teacher, do you have like a pencil and paper?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what do you want me to write?" And he was like, "Could you write something to God for me?" And I'm like, "Sure." And then I started penciling and I'm like, "You want to?" And then I just wrote, first he was like, "I love you, God." And then I was like, "Okay, I'll write that. I love you, God." And then he went on and on. And I'm like, "Oh my goodness, this is a letter." And you guys know, if you read my book, Love Letters to God, I was like, this is the nail on the head too. Oh my goodness. These kids want to write love letters to God. What in the world? What in the world? What am I in a dream or something? Pinch. I'm awake. I pinched myself. I'm awake. Okay. And so I took a pencil and paper and I was like, actually I took a marker because I wanted this to last. Okay. I took a marker and a piece of paper and I'm like, "Yo, you want to write a letter to God?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Oh my goodness, we're going to start. Dear God." And so he started saying all that was on his heart. He was like, "I love you, God. I love your creation. You're very beautiful. You're very handsome." And I just wrote down the whole thing. I'm going to put the letter right on this video so you guys could see it. Or I'm going to post it on my TikTok so you guys could read the letter that these little 4-5-year-old kids were writing to God. That was so full of heart and love. And I'm just like, what in the world? Oh my goodness. I feel like I'm in a heavenly dream right now. How could this be happening? We've been waiting like, oh my goodness, it's been like a year or something that I've just been praying that God's presence would walk in a room, that Jesus would walk in a room in such a manifest way, that the kids could feel him, that they would take Jesus seriously, that they would worship him seriously. That is not just singing a song, it's worshiping the King. And in that moment, I think for a second, the kids understood it, understood worship. And so I was just so amazed. And I hope this video has blessed you guys, and you guys can know whether you work in like a classroom, a daycare, wherever, you could pray that God's presence would come in. And these little kids, maybe your kids are worshiping with you at home. These little kids can move the heart of God. They could steward his presence. They could host his presence. They could learn how to worship with all their heart. Oh my goodness. I pray that that would happen for you and for your kids as well. Hallelujah. God bless you guys. Thank you for listening to this message. Bye-bye.